Welcome everybody to another edition of the Hurry Up. I'm your host, Adam. Let's get right into it. We are now at the doorstep of the NFL season. We're in the preseason, and let's get started with that. The preseason. Everyone asks, hey, why is the preseason worth? Why do we need 4 games? Why don't we need 4 games? You need 4 games because the core of your team rides on your roster. How are you going to see the other 22 to 27 players on your team without the preseason? Listen, if you're a Denver Bronco fan, you know what Peyton Manning can do. If you're a Giant fan, you know what Eli Manning can do. It's the other guys behind those guys who you haven't seen. Those are the guys you want to look at. This is what preseason is about. Let's talk about the New York teams. If you're a Jet fan, you're wondering if Mark Sanchez can do the job. After the first preseason game, you're still scratching your head saying, can Mark Sanchez do the job? If you're a Giant fan, you're wondering if your stud running back who was a rookie last year can block for Eli Manning. This is what preseason is going to shake out. And this is why it's important. You get guys like Victor Cruz. You get guys like John Randall, who are Hall of Famers. You get a Miles Austin if you're a Cowboy fan. An undrafted player who you probably would have never heard of if he hadn't been out there. Guys get a chance. Tony Romo, undrafted player. He made it because of the preseason. He performed in the preseason. Kurt Warner. I can go down the line. This is why preseason is important. This is why the core of your team is built for the preseason. You don't care about the starters as long as they get in, get out, and get on with life and don't get injured. In training camp, a lot happens. Look at the Eagles. They lost one of their receivers for the year. It's tough. But these are some of the things. Now you get to find out who on that team is going to step up and be the number 2 guy. Now that Deshaun Jackson has to be number 1. Who will be their number 1 quarterback? All these storylines get to be played out in the preseason, and these are the times you get to enjoy that because most of these guys that do get to play, you probably won't see them too much. Or if you do, you get to see who might be able to contribute on your team, be the third corner, be the third receiver, be that third down running back. This is the time they get to do that. This is the fun part of the year. You get to see the new acquisitions that you signed in the offseason, that you've waited since March when free agency began, and April when the draft happened. This is the time you get to see the players and how they can fit into your ball clubs. If you're the Kansas City Chiefs, you get to see your new tackle. If you're a Redskin fan, you get to see the development of RG3 and his knee and how that's progressing. If you're a Seattle fan, you just lost Percy Harvin for who knows how long. You get to see who's behind him and see if they can still perform at that level. This is what preseason is about. It's not about winning or losing. It's about developing a championship caliber squad. All the winning teams that you see have developed their talent in the preseason. They know who's behind them. They know they can plug in guys and keep the shit moving. Okay, you look at teams like the Patriots, the Steelers, the Broncos, the Giants, the Ravens, the 49ers, just to name a few. The reason they win is because they've developed from within and they know what they have. They don't have to bring in too many new guys to fit their system. They don't need to worry about too many draft picks, carrying them. They've already developed their players. They know what they have, and they got to check them out in preseason. A lot of guys make movements in preseason. You see a guy like a Matt Flynn. Matt Flynn only played a few regular season games, and now he's the starter over in Oakland. This is the time where you get to develop and see those guys. Another thing is, you get these great magazines to read to see what trash is being talked about your team and what garbage may be being spewed. This is the chance where you can talk about your team because guess what? Everybody is 0-0. There's nobody that's better than anybody right now. It's the preseason 0-0. At the end of the regular season, that's when you'll know who the big teams are and who aren't. But right now, if you're a Bengal fan or a Browns fan, you have a chance in the AFC North to unseat Pittsburgh or Baltimore. If you're in the AFC, or the AFC East, you get to check out maybe a team can unseat the Patriots. You never know. They got a lot going on after their tumultuous offseason. This is the time. Who will emerge out of the NFC East? Will it be the Giants? Will it be the Cowboys? Will it be the Redskins? You don't know. This is the fun part. This is the part you get to talk about with your friends and you get to let play out. That's the preseason. This has been the preseason edition to the Hurry Up. Stay tuned. We will be talking about fantasy football, and maybe we'll give you a little bit of some nuggets that you may want when you're having your fantasy draft. One tip before we go: don't draft early. You should have your draft a week before the season. Let all the injuries happen. Let everything play out. Let the dust settle. Then make your fantasy draft. This has been another edition of the Hurry Up. I'm your host, Adam. See you next time.